Hey guys, it's been a while. Today I want to talk about the new Nigma Galaxy with Sumail's debut matches against Team Ivy. So after watching the two matches played today, I feel like Nigma has gotten a lot stronger for a couple of reasons. Let's see if you guys agree with me. Firstly, with Sumail as their new mid player, they have a lot of better drafting options. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that Miracle is a bad mid, but his current mid hero pool is just not suitable for the fast-paced meta nowadays. In addition, they have the option to swap Miracle and Sumail's position whenever they want, which gives them a huge advantage during drafting. Next is the most important change in my opinion. With the addition of Sumail, Nigma is finally back playing early game fast-paced pushing comps. If you guys remember, that was actually their bread and butter back when they won TI7 as Liquid. So against Ivy, both Miracle and Sumail were constantly invading and leading the charge in fights early game, which were actually very successful. And this is a completely different playstyle as when they had ILTW, where they farmed for 30 minutes while barely getting any objectives done. Right, all they did was farm separately and eventually tried to win the game at the end. The last huge change in Nigma is the way Kuroki has been playing his lane. Now there's no way for me to know if this was discussed amongst their team or just a natural occurrence, but from what I observed, Kuroki is being much more active in his lane. He buys more heals, more sentries. He's helping Miracle a lot more than he did when he was playing with ILTW. So I don't know if this is because he has more faith in Miracle, thus being more motivated, or simply because it was an impact due to his position 1's playstyle change, right? Because ILTW and Miracle's playstyles are completely different. But in these two games that they played against Ivy, it seems like Nigma was playing much more like a team compared to before, where they just farmed solo and in general played their own game without really helping each other out. So let's take a look at a couple of clips and see if you guys agree with me. Alright, so let's take a look at the biggest changes in Nigma's drafting now. So first off, we have Miracle, right? Compared to ILTW, who plays late game carries like Luna, Medusa, Gyro, Tiny. Miracle goes with Monkey King, which is extremely strong in lane and is much more fast-paced than the other heroes, right? He can start fighting with 1 items, 2 items, doesn't really need that much to do damage. And also, we take a look at Sumail, who's Kato at mid, right? So for Nigma, it's not like Miracle didn't pick any mages. He did. He picked like Void Spirit, he picked Lina, but all these heroes he plays are actually, how would I say, they have to go in and initiate, right? They depend on him to do damage and he has to go in, and it's really easy for the enemies to either counter initiate or initiate onto him because he has to be really close by. But with Sumail and his hero pool, he can play heroes like Kato, which are all the way in the back, very aggressive from a range, and he can first pick it because Kato is just hard to counter in general, right? So game 2, we look at their lineup again. They have Monkey King, Slaughter. This time Sumail goes with Earth Spirit, a bunch of early game heroes. And in the past, Nigma has always struggled with initiating, right? As Miracle goes mid, his heroes aren't that great with initiating. Lina, Huskar, Invoker, they're just not as great as going in and completely messing up the enemy lineup and their positioning than Earth Spirit, right? So like I said, with Sumail in their team, their drafting options just wide open. They have so many more opportunities and chances. The great thing about Team Nigma right now is that Sumail's actually not playing out of his comfort zone. In these two games, he ganked extremely well. They were both very successful playing Earth Spirit and Coddle. And that was something that Nigma was lacking before, right? They needed someone to lead the charge, someone to initiate, someone to carry the team early game. And now Sumail, they have that condition. So let's take a look at a couple clips where Sumail and Miracle both play aggressively now in the early game, which Nigma lacked before. So let's take a look at what I mean by fast tempo and aggressive. So right after they killed Pugna and Mars, Kuroki and Miracle are actually not content yet. They actually chased this level 8 Tiny who was mid, mind you. Miracle's level 6. They chased him to behind tier 2 tower, right? This is something that the last Nigma team would never have done. There's no way that they would have done this. ILTW would be farming, Miracle would be mid farming, right? Instead, right now, they're so aggressive. They're behind tier 2 tower. Sumail actually comes to support them, and they're perfectly fine behind a tier 2 tower. They're actually making Team Envy run away, or Ivy run away. And this is something that Nigma, when they were back in Liquid, did all the time when they won TI7, right? And somewhere down the line, I guess the teams, figured out that's what they did. They had counter formations, whatever. But now with the new patch and everything, Nigma can start doing this again, and this is definitely something that will help them get into the TI qualifiers. Okay, let's take a look at another example. This is game 2 against Team Ivy, and at not even 8 minutes, Miracle actually TP's mid to try and gank the Necrophos. Successful gank, and if you guys look, Necrophos is the highest net worth on their team, so this is an extremely good kill, right? But the key here is actually Sumail. Look at this, before 8 minutes, let's just say 8 minutes, right? They have 9 kills, and Sumail is actually 105. He has 66% kill participation on the team, right? He just been ganking top lane, bot lane, mid, he just goes around ganking everywhere, and this is something that Team Nigma really needed. But now with Nigma's changes, I would imagine that their team fight abilities are a lot stronger than they used to be, right? Because first of all, now they have an initiator on their team, or else they're playing initiating comps, which, I mean, it's common sense, right? If you initiate on the enemy team, you're gonna have an easier time than when they initiate on you. And with that being said, I'm not saying that LTW was a bad match with the team, right? It's just that he couldn't fill what Nigma needed. And now with Sumail, I think they have a great chance at actually playing the TI qualifiers and getting into TI, right? So there's a couple things that I think they need to work on before that happens, but so far I'm liking what I see. I am a Nigma fan, so definitely their communication with Sumail could be a little better. There's a couple times where Sumail didn't have enough mana and the supports had a mango or something that they didn't give it to him. There's also the really important thing of Kuroki's lane. If you guys are interested, you guys can look at game 2 where Kuroki didn't play his lane very well, and Mind Control actually had a very, very hard time. So yeah, let me know if you guys agree with me, and I'll see you guys next time.